Hello, friends. I hope you're doing really well today. And I want to speak on a topic that my team and I are very passionate about is basically a little bit of how the sausage is made in terms of how do we help people plan, shop, cook, and eat faithfully despite having a busy life and not always feeling regulated and maybe confident in doing so. So I want to give you basically four parts of the process that we we help people with. So let's just go ahead and jump in and get started. So it's really important when we are learning how to do all those steps. So we want to break it down into all the steps. So let's say, for example, planning and planning with eating regularly. It has a lot to do with, you have to have a mission here. You have to have a goal. And if your goal here is to eat enough energy to have a big variety of food, to have it reliable, to have it in multiple places when you need it, depending on if you're staying home all day, if you're home and traveling here and through. You have to know how to plan to do that. So let's just start with number one is what is your what is your personal knowledge? Like if you were to assess what you know about yourself and your current abilities, you have to start with number one. And that means knowing your strengths and weaknesses. So let's say that one of your strengths with planning, maybe you kind of recognize that in yourself. One of your strengths with planning is that your interoceptive awareness is really good. Like you kind of know from just being fortunate enough to have some brain body connection enough to know that you like sweet and spicy together. Let's say that's a strength of yours. But a weakness would be getting caught up in the minutia of the calories of the different brands of, let's say, sweet and sour sauces. So you need to know your strengths and weaknesses and where you're going to get caught up in the planning part of picking a recipe. So your personal knowledge is really important. Another part is we're going to call it strategic knowledge, which is this is number two, knowing how to choose the proper strategy for learning and applying it effectively. So what that means is what helps you learn and what helps you practice enough to build that new neural pathway. So, for example, let's say we're going to choose cooking. Are you a person that learns the best by cooking with someone else? Like you do best by they do a step, you do a step. Do you learn best by just watching? Do you do your best by literally reading a recipe and just following it sequentially? In that, when you look at a recipe and it's on a piece of paper, and let's say you can perform the task well, um, are you better at reading it all the way through once and then gathering your ingredients and then going back step by step, or do you learn better as you go? And whenever you have to plan too much ahead, you get maybe overwhelmed with perfectionism or hijacked in some kind of way. All right. Number three is task knowledge. Do you know even know how to do any of these tasks? Are you able to figure out how long it will take and why you'll need to do it? Again, for example, sometimes we just get a recipe thinking we're going to do it right this second. But unfortunately, it calls for 45 minutes and you only have 20. And so that would be a place of backing up a couple of steps to before you decide when you're going to make a meal, deciding how much time do I have every single day or once a week, or maybe your goal is twice a week. And typically, in knowing yourself, how much time do you need to leave when you're a beginner versus an intermediate stage learner versus a more advanced learner with your cooking skills or your planning skills um, or your regulation skills. And this goes to number four, which is the actual regulation. Are you able to witness and even manage your thoughts and your emotions throughout your learning process? So again, we spend time going back and forth with clients, all four of these, I guess, stages. And I don't think that there's linear. I think that they go back and forth depending on where you're feeling a little tripped up. So but I would say a little bonus here is that we do start with regulation. We disperse regulation throughout the planning and shopping and cooking and eating experience. And then we want to do more regulation as we're wrapping up and processing how it went. So these are 4 steps plus a bonus. So I'll repeat those again for you is your own personal knowledge about basically your strengths and weaknesses and how you operate, testing your knowledge. Do you know how to do a task? Have you figured out how long it will take you and what you need to do it? So tools, time, um, what level of support you need. Strategic knowledge is knowing how to choose a proper strategy for learning and applying it effectively. Number 4, and I would also say maybe pre number 1 is regulation. Can you witness and do you have the co-regulation enough on board to build self-regulation to manage your thoughts, your feelings about this learning process, and even what it means about you to be able to successfully navigate all these steps and know that this whole process again is not linear. It's not about perfectionism. The more or less honestly capacity and regulation we have will probably determine how well we can access the knowledge that we also have and that we're trying to learn. Honestly, if you felt like this was what you're missing in this whole process to help you faithfully feed yourself, please let us know. We'd love to hear about what you experienced with this teaching. We'd also love you to reach out if you're feeling like you get stuck on one or all of these steps. Again, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is what we have a passion to do, is really break down the minutia with precision and care. And we want to provide you with regulation. And most importantly, we want you to become empowered. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next teaching. Bye for now.